So I was born. No, just kidding. Well, I'm from Belgium originally, but I'm living in Nigeria now. And I started out actually as a teacher. So I love to work with children, and so a teaching job for me was something that would was logic, right? But then I started teaching, and I didn't like the structure of schools. I thought there was not enough creativity, so I didn't like it actually. So my dream was being a teacher, but the moment I started teaching, I knew that wasn't the thing I would do for the rest of my life. Um, so I said something else to do for and with kids, which brought me to puppet theater, and it was late 80s, but puppet theater then was in a downhill. There were new things to be found in that period like television shows and stuff for kids, and that's where I saw a clown on TV, and I saw that he had such a big impact on children. So the show was a gigantic hit in Belgium, and but it was the figure of the clown that, of course, attracted children, and that's when I thought, oh, if this is really a way to connect with children, why don't I do this clown thing then? But that turned out to be easier said than done. Well, everybody can say I'm a clown, right? But I wanted to take it serious, and I wanted to really make my living out of it. And again, that was early 90s, and there was no internet then. You had to rent videos, you had to read books, you had to find out these things. So it took a long time for me to find everything about clowning and stuff, and but still I got into it, followed some courses, and started my journey as a clown. And then in 1998, they were looking in Belgium for clowns to visit sick children in hospitals. And that didn't exist in Belgium. You had it in America, where Patch Adams started this thing. There's even a movie about it with Robin Williams. But in Belgium, it was never heard of. So I was invited, if I had some interest in that. Surely I had. And I was selected out of a lot of people, actually, with 2 people that could start. And
wow.
Yeah, and what looked like something fun to do and easy soon turned to be out a real nightmare, because, yeah, performing as a clown for sick children, that's another kind of animal. You know, if you do a party or you go on stage as a clown, you have the attention, the kids love you, they shout, oh, the party is starting. But in a hospital, that's a different thing. They are sometimes afraid. You have the doctors that are there, the parents that are there. They are sick. They don't feel good. They feel pain. So that was a different kind of thing. But as I learned to do that, I found out the beauty of it, and I found out how to connect with children, even sick children, and it opened my world, because at the end of my let's say hospital clowning career, I did a lot of work for palliative kids, and yeah, then you start, your eyes are going open then, because then you are confronted as I was still young then. Now I'm still young, of course, too, but then I was younger. And you know, when you're young, you are not confronted with death. It's just like that. Yeah, once maybe your grandmother dies, or maybe if you have an accident in the family or something. But in normal circumstances, you're not confronted, certainly not on regularly basis, with death. And there I was as still a young guy then, and I was confronted with death all the time. And that was for me the biggest learning school until now. I never learned more in that period. But not only the way I had to handle the kids, also the parents, the nurses, the doctors. So everything comes in play there. Even getting into a room where a child has only a few days to live. There's no parents who says, "Oh, come, welcome." No. You have to you have to really convince them. You have to find a way to really come in and convince them that this is a good thing.
And how did you do that?
Well, the thing is that you talk to them and you say, look, I'm not coming in only for your child. I'm also coming in for you, for the family members. How do you want to remember your child? Is it in a sick bed or is it laughing? And the thing that I was right there is that still, until this day, I still get Christmas cards of parents that I visited in hospitals and which children didn't make it, but I still get Christmas cards of these people. So that means I did something really profound for their life, for their children. And I'm still having the benefits of that work now. Now in my work, I still work the same way as I worked then. I always say to people, my job doesn't change, only my costume is changed. So yeah. I still work that way as a clown. I still see what's going on in the moment. No real method to help people. Just see what I've got in front of me and see where they want to go and how I can lead them to it. So yeah, that's in short who I am or what I do. Yeah.
Now, how hard is it to transition from, say, I'll take a circus clown, for example, to what you do?
You mean now the coaching or the hospital clowning?
Hospital clowning.
It's extremely hard. You know, when I ended my career in 2008 as a hospital clown, I stayed with the organization and I helped training other clowns for hospitals, right? Because 10 years, that was enough for me. But I helped training those clowns. And it was really hard to find clowns who could make the switch. They are so used to be in the middle of point of the attention, and they have their tricks and their balloons and their gadgets, but their gadgets don't work. So we had to de-learn them everything. So that's also why we decided when we were like 5, 6, or 7 years in, not to hire clowns anymore, just to hire people who said, hey, I want to do this. Can you learn? Can you? And that was easier because then you started with a fresh slate, and you could learn them the hospital clowning. And if you invited clowns, so people that were clown, you had to de-teach them everything. You had to just break them down and then build them up again. So it took much longer. Yeah, it took much longer to have regular clowns becoming hospital clowns than the people who just were motivated to work with children and to do the work to make them hospital clowns. So it's really difficult. And there were a lot of colleagues also that just gave up, that at some point, or they couldn't take it. They couldn't take working with what they saw with children that were in pain and stuff. They couldn't take it mentally. That was also a part of the game, of course. But also a lot of them that couldn't, what I often did, and that's true story here, and I was renowned for that. People warned clowns for that. So just before they would go into room, they always had like a case with balloons and magic tricks and juggle balls. I would took the case from them I took the case from them and say, okay, go in now. And then they had like something, oh no, what am I going to do then? But that was just the point, of course, that they were looking something with the child in the hospital room, and that they improvised and that they connected with the child. Because if you start playing with your balloons and with your magic tricks, which is all great with children who are in great health, which is all great, but it doesn't work with children. They are sick. They need the connection. They don't need a show. They really, the last thing that a child, especially a child that is dying, the last thing that child needs is a show from a clown. It doesn't need that. It needs connection. It needs real laughter. It needs those things. Yeah, so to answer your question, it's hard.
How do you build that relationship, that trust in that situation?
Yeah. The best thing is to be totally honest. And that's also what children are. If a child has only, palliative kids, if you do this, that means they are going to die. It's a certainty, right? So, and if you are in these rooms and you want to dribble around the goal, it's no use. You have to just be honest with them. If they ask a question in that so as a clown, I got so many questions like, have you ever visited heaven? Have you ever did like these kind of questions you get from kids, right? They think that clowns, yeah, they can hop between heaven and earth, right? So you get these kind of questions, and then it's just a case of being honest, of saying, nope, I haven't even been there, but you're going there. That's a certainty. You know what I mean? And you start playing with them, and you be honest. But if you deflect that question, yeah, it's and that's what a lot of clowns do. A lot of people also do with children. They're just not honest. And people, children can take the truth better than you think.
Oh yeah.
They also speak the truth. And just to give another example, in the beginning we had like the clown-like things like colorful hats and a lot of face painting and colorful jackets and stuff and big shoes.
Sure.
Yeah, and the more we did the visits, the more this was left alone. So we started with dropping the shoes because it was we would fall behind the bed or something, so that was dangerous. Then we would drop the let's say the face paint because some children were afraid of it, and we just at the end the only thing we had was a little red nose. That was the only thing we had. But then of course you sometimes got the remark, "You're not a real clown." So just to say they are really honest and right in your face, and well, you gotta love that because otherwise you're a mouse for a cat.
Now, I know when we initially spoke, I mentioned that, well, for me, from my perspective, I always thought clowns were evil because they always scared me.
Yeah. Oh, the answer to that is then you haven't met a good clown yet. Sometimes what clowns do, and these kids parties, right? They are these 3-4 years old. They're sitting there and they're playing, they're having fun, and suddenly the clowns comes in, way. But for some kids that's too much. But they take that trauma, that thing, they take it until they are grown-ups. So at some point some clowns must have done something that startled you, and you take that with you, because if that wouldn't have happened, nobody's afraid of clowns because there is no evil in clowns. Of course you have the film, right? I know what you mean, but in real clowns there is no evil. That's of course the success of the film, right? You take something which is innerly good, a clown which is a good character, which is fun, who loves children, who wants to play with children, and then you take it and you make a very how you say, dangerous, a very evil character. Of course, for a movie that works.
Well, it's funny. I grew up on a different subject, watching Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was broadcast in Belgium or
yeah. I know the stories in the books. Well, very, very nice.
And now they're making a horror movie out of it.
Yeah, I saw it.
How do you make a horror movie out of Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah, well, they have to draw an audience to the cinema, I think. Yeah. It's a little bit the same, huh? It's a little bit the same. You don't expect it, and that makes it, of course, for a movie, that makes it really good, of course.
But it's just unexpected.
Yeah, it's unexpected. Yeah, but in each case, clowns are honest. They are into the moment. They mean no harm. So that should be the intention of a clown. Yeah.
So were you ever, when you were in the hospital, ever worried about, because now we have COVID and things like this, were you ever worried about catching something, a disease or anything?
Well,
did you ever go through any precautions or anything?
Well, I often thought about it, but I did the job for 10 years. I visited more than 10,000 kids, and I never got sick. Yeah, and I never got sick, not once. I can't explain that, but I think it's just that the sickness that you get is you could get a cold, you could get infected by something, but the energy you give and what you play out and what you do, I can't explain it. But I didn't got sick in 10 years visiting more than 10,000 kids. So there has to be something that, and I did get sick. I mean, I had colds and I got sick, but never from visiting children. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. Of course, in some rooms, you needed to take precautions. If they had a yellow fever or something, then you had to do the mask and stuff. That's normal. But in other cases, no, never, never, never.
So by putting that mask on, did that make your job harder?
Well, I have no, actually no, which is funny. And to answer the question even more, because now the clowns nowadays, now they just have their red nose, they do the mask and then they put the red nose of the mask. So that's funny. But at some point when COVID started, and so I was still with the organization behind the screens, so we couldn't go in hospitals anymore. Nobody could go in hospitals. And so we had the idea, let's just chat with children, just like we are doing now, right? And we had like 13 clowns, and there were like only 1 or 2 that say, yeah, we can do that. And the other ones, they say, no, that's not going to work. There's no real connection. It's not live. It's not. And then I said, well, you know what? We've got nothing else to do, right? It's COVID. We can't do anything. Let's just try it. And of course, it's another way of working. But at the end, the result is identical. And that's the power of the clown. You know, he searches a way to get in and to feel the connection with a child, even through the screen. And that is really the power of a good clown who connects any way he can. And yeah, it works. And also, there was also the surprise because some of the board members also didn't believe in it. And I always believed in it. I said, I know it has to be, of course, you have to, little tweaks and little things that you did. I remember some clowns started to play hide and seek with these children in a chat. It was brilliant. These children, they dove away so that you couldn't see in the camera, and then they popped up again, and all these kind of things, which clowns just invented on the spot, or that children asked, hey, let's play hide and seek, and that the clown said, yeah, sure, let's play. And you got this great play and this great thing, and children having fun. Oh, that was magnificent, was that. And since there were so little children there in hospitals, they had so much time also with the children, because time is limited. I mean, it's a really hard job, and it's physical and mentally tiring. So if you have to visit 20 children, it's exhausting, right, to visit, because you have to visit them all. But now we had the time. We had like 3 or 4 children in a chat, and we had time to chat, and we had time to do all these things. So actually, that was wonderful. Yeah.
Well, I know I raised 2 kids, and I know how exhausting that was. So I can't even
That's
imagine.
what I mean, yeah.
I can't even imagine how exhausting that your job was.
Yeah.
So what do you do now?
Well, like I said, I changed costume. Well, I coach people now, and the beauty of it is, you know what a clown does? He takes a bad situation and he turns it around in something beautiful, in a gift. And that's also what I do now with people that I coach. So I coach people, and I do the same. I make sure that they can handle any challenge with a positive mindset, and to accept it as a gift rather than something bad. So in a sense, I am doing exactly the same as what I'm doing with these children. A child that, I have so many stories, but that's just one of the funny ones. When they have chemotherapy, you know, their hair drops. And then always was funny, because as you see, my hair dropped too. But that's because I'm growing too fast, right? My hair can't follow. But okay, that's another story. So I always said to the kid, and they were always shy. They had a hat, or they had a bandana, or they always hid their baldness. Until I came in, and then I say, hey, that's great that you're bald. You don't need gel, you don't need shampoo, and the girls love it. Look at me. And when I left those rooms, these children, they dropped the bandana, and they were bragging about how cool it was to be bald. So take this, right, and move that to the adult sphere. So you have a challenge, whatever it is, and you talk with somebody, and after you talk with somebody, you go out and say, hey, This is my strength now. This is not a challenge anymore. This is a strength. And that's exactly what I do now. Yeah.
Yeah, but is it harder to deal with adults than it is with kids?
Yeah, it is. Just because kids are honest and adults aren't. I mean, sometimes it takes me an hour just to come behind the real problem they have because they're just not honest. You ask them, okay, how's it going? Yeah, it's going okay. Okay, so where are you stuck? Yeah, well, you know, this kind of conversations. With children, they just drop it in the first seconds. This is what I've got. This is my problem. Here it is. Without you have peers, well, okay, that's the word of a coach, work of a coach. That's fine. But let's say 99% of the people that come to me and say, I've got this kind of thing of problem, 99%, it isn't that problem. So we peel the onion, we go a little deeper, and it turns out to be something totally different. But that's good, of course, because then you can really work on the situation. I always say, you know, if you are directing me to come to your house, right, but I don't know where I am, then you can't direct me to your house. If I can tell you, hey, I'm in that church on that street, then you can say, oh, okay. Now I can direct you to my house. But if I don't know where I am, I can't get anywhere. And that's what's going on with a lot of people nowadays. They don't know what they are. They don't know where they are. They don't know what they want. So you have to really be clear with them. What do you want? What do you really want in life? And then you got to dig because, yeah, everybody wants a house and money and a car, but that's often not really what they want. And you have to find that out. And once you have that, then you got to work with them.
Yeah, because I remember going to school and you go to college, and when you get there, they're like, oh, well, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? I'm like, I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life. I'm 18 years old.
It's a stupid question to begin with.
I mean, I've gone from finance to computers to project management,
of course,
to what I'm doing now, which is what I really enjoy. And kind of like you, I help people.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I do is I do have my other company called My Digital Memories, and I help people preserve their legacies. I digitize photos, slides, film, etc., and I put that to music and I help Alzheimer patients and dementia patients get clarity and help with their cognitive skills and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful. Yeah, so it's true. It's true. Yeah. I mean, no, you shouldn't ask an 80-year-old, what do you want to do? You should say, go and do something and find out. Go. What do you think you like? Go and do it, and you'll know. You'll know. And if you don't like it, stop. Do something else. That's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, there's two paths there's three paths that I know that you can take. One, you can go into the trades and be a plumber, or you can go to college and figure it out. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you just need to take a break and go to work and figure out what exactly you want to do.
Yeah, but go do things that you think you want to do, and sometimes, like even when I was a kid, I was dreaming to become a teacher. I always dreamt, even when I was like 10, 12 years old, I want to be a teacher. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. And I studied for a teacher, and I taught for 8 months, and that was enough for me to knew it earlier actually, but it doesn't matter. And then I said, okay, no, this is not what I want to do the rest of my life. This is even not what I want to do the rest of the year. Yeah, and then a friend through my mom got me a job in a glass factory. They fabricated glass and they made windows and stuff. I went working there, just to have some job, you know. I mean, otherwise there was no money.
Sure.
Yeah, and There, same thing. After a few months, I had something from, oof, this is not it. So then I went to wait tables and so on and so on. And yeah, at some point you find what you, and then I started my puppeteer thing. And at some point you find what you want to do and you stick with it. But once you know, you have to stick with it. That's another case, of course. And you know, sometimes it's very simple, but it's never easy. So yeah.
If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kind of reminds me of the phrase, "You've got to kiss a lot of frogs before you get to your prince."
Yeah, it's exactly that.
So
it's exactly that. And some people have a little bit of luck and they arrive sooner. But most of us, we have to put in the time and the work and the effort. And not that it's, I always say, but it has to be effortless. I mean, doing effort, if you feel that it's that you're constantly knocking your head against the wall, if you feel that, if you are doing that constantly, stop, because then you are doing the wrong thing. I'm not saying it could that it can be hard someday and you have a hard day or maybe a hard week. But if it remains hard and if you feel that nothing is moving, you're not doing it right. That's what I always say to people. Find other ways. It needs to be in flow. And if it's not in flow, there's something wrong and you have to find out what.
Yeah. I've got a similar saying. If you dread getting up every morning and going to work, it's not the job for you. Because if you like your job, it should be fun. It should be something that you enjoy. It shouldn't be something that you dread.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not that they can't have a bad day. Everybody can have a bad day once in a while, but that's just a bad day, you know. And it's the same with willpower, you know. Some people, they have a lot of willpower and they endure and they go on and they go on. But I can assure you, at some point they break. They go in a burnout, or they are physically something that's going wrong. They break. And I try to convince so many people that saying you're just going against the waves, and that's good for an hour. But if you keep on going against the waves, sorry, but it's not okay. Just turn your boat and go in the other direction. It's simple as that. Maybe it takes you some longer, yeah, maybe. But if you go against the wind, you will never get there. And yeah, sometimes you need to use analogies to make people understand, right?
So I believe you call yourself a mental health coach.
Yes.
How does that differ from like a life coach?
I like that question. So let's say life coach is what it says, life coach. People get stuck in life and you help them. Right? Now, what a mental fitness coach does is, the thing is, and I always compare it with going to the gym. You go to the gym and you see a weight there that is like 100 kilo. I don't know what in pound that is, 200 pounds. And you know everything how to lift it. You know how to grab it. You know that you have to keep your back straight. You know that you have to go through your legs. So you know everything to lift it. But still you can't lift it, right? And that's also, so what you need to do is you have to start with lighter weights and build yourself up until you can put 200 pounds up. Now, that's exactly the same what people do with challenges in their life. So they see a challenge, and they read a book, or they go to a seminar, or they see a movie and they get motivated and they have the insight, now I know how it works. They go and do it and they fail. But insight is only 20% of the thing. The rest is muscle building. And that's why I am a mental fitness coach. You have to build up that mental fitness. You know, it's like martial arts. You start with a white band and at the end you are black. But you can't go from white to black. That's impossible. So if you need to handle challenges, you need a method. You need a foundation to handle these challenges. And that's before I do any coaching, Jeff. That's what I do first. That's 6 weeks program. And before they walk through that program, I don't even start with coaching with them. That would be the same as saying, okay, come here and pick up the 200 pounds. That would be exactly the same. You can't coach them through that. Their muscles are not built. And once they have this muscle building, once they are strong, then we can say, okay, now where you're stuck, now what's your problem? And now we're going to work on that. And but it's my opinion. That's also where a lot of coaches go wrong. They start with a problem, and with all good intentions, they start working on that problem, start focusing on that problem without building a foundation. I mean, it's like throwing a kid in the water and hope that he swims. And in some cases, it will swim. But in most cases, the child will drown. That's just a simple fact.
Well, you know what that also reminds me of? It reminds me of the basketball player, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
People see him, he's fantastic on the court. But what you didn't see is the hours and hours he spent getting there and developing that muscle.
Yeah. I saw an interview with Kobe, which is another great basketball player. Mm-hmm. And he said, normally everybody started at 7 a.m. or something in the gym. But then he had already a session done. Before the others did, he had one done. And he did that every day. So he said, if you do that for 2 to 3 years, nobody can catch up with you anymore. You know what I mean? And that's what we forget. We forget that it takes time to build things. And that's with a business, that's personal, how you build your life, your mental fitness, right? And we live in a time, and that's you are not the youngest chick on the farm also. So when we were younger,
I appreciate your honesty.
Yes, when we were younger and more beautiful, no, we are beautiful. No, so the things went slower, and since the internet, everything goes fast. So the youth of today think that if they are building a business or whatever they are doing, that it's going fast. And it's not true. Yeah, you can do things with chat. What's it, Chat GPI or whatever it is?
Chat GPT.
Yeah, Chat GPT. You can write a book in an hour. I know, but I'm sorry, but that doesn't make you a writer.
No.
That's the difference. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for building a business and for working on your personal development, that just takes time. It's some food also takes time to prepare. If you want fast food, you go to McDonald's, or if you go to, and then you have your food fast. That's why it's called fast food, and that's fine. But there's also the thing that where they cook fresh things, and it takes time. You have to go to the veggie market, buy the thing. You have to go to buy your meat, preferably fresh meat, and all, and that takes time. Then you need like 2, maybe 3 hours to prepare a meal.
Sure.
But there is a big difference between these two, and they can live amongst each other. That's no problem at all. But if you only have the one, which is the fast one, at some point it goes wrong. It's, yeah,
so,
has to go wrong.
So, as a coach, do you work globally, or are you strictly?
Yeah. So I was still living in Belgium when COVID broke out, and I was coaching then, and I was coaching one-on-one with people. So they came to my house, or I went to them, and then COVID hit us, and we were obligated to go online. And
sure.
That's also, see, it was a challenge, and now it turned out to be a gift. And also, just before COVID, I traveled to Nigeria and stuff, and I get to know people here and so on. So after COVID, I wanted to come back here. But of course, I knew that I could move my business because I could work where I wanted. And that's why I immediately took the decision, okay, I'm going to work 100% online now. So from now on, I only going to coach in English. And in the beginning, that was tough because people kept asking me, come take Dutch clients and it was a good thing that I then said, no, I'm sorry, I don't take Dutch clients anymore because it's English now. And yeah, you lose a few clients, but I'm so happy that I did it now, because there are so many English speaking people, and there are only 25 million Dutch or speaking people. That's how many people live here in Lagos, where I live, 25 million. So so yeah.
So who's your target market? Who's your ideal client?
I like to work with people, with leaders, even small business owners who have a few people that they are working with a team. Also big companies, doesn't matter. And that I found out, I did that recently. So I had a hard time with selling my coaching there.
Oh,
with
well,
these people.
I think everybody has that issue.
Yeah, but at some point, then again was we have a challenge. How are we going to do it with a positive mindset?
Exactly.
Yeah. So at some point I thought, okay, what are we going to do? And everybody said, yeah, you have to give them value. I said, yeah, it's all good and well. I know that I have to give them value. How do I do that? So then I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it for free. I'm going to do these 6 weeks for free. You can do the 6 weeks as a team leader or CEO. Doesn't matter who you are. I'm giving you this for free. No strings attached. If you, after this 6 weeks, said to me, Eddie, it's not that, I'll shake your hand, we drink a beer, and we say, no worries at all. So what I do now is I give them all the value they want, and they do the whole program. So they know exactly what it is before they decide that they want to work with me. And that is such a delight. Now I only work with people who really want to do this thing because they did the program. They are enthusiastic about the program. They want to share it with their team, and that is so fantastic. I mean, that I didn't have that idea. It's so simple, right? But
that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, but again, here everybody told me, you're crazy. You're working 6 weeks for free without even knowing if somebody wants to sign. Say, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And everybody said, you're crazy. You're really crazy. So yeah, I know I'm crazy. That's why I'm a clown, but I'm going to do it that way. But there was also this thing because I have the same, Jeff. If somebody wants to sell me something and I don't need it, I don't want it.
Sorry about that. No, that was turned off.
No, it's no problem. But the same, but that's just my opinion. If what I need, I will buy. But I don't want to buy stuff that I don't need. And and if I can try something out, that's great. I mean, you don't buy a car without driving it, I suppose. I think nobody does. Why would you buy a car without driving it? So why would a coaching program be different? I mean, you have to experience it. You have to, you can do a free coaching call. What most coaches do, they do a free coaching call with you, and that's good. Then you know something already. But that's just a taste. Now you got the whole pie. You got the entree. You got the main course, and you got the desserts, and even a bottle of wine. You got it all. This is what it is. And if you don't like it, okay. But now you can decide. In a proper way, you had it all, and I like that, and that's also the honesty, from the clown. I want to be honest to people. This is what I have. This is my program. Do the program. If you love it, great. If you don't like it, also great. But that's not just with each other. I'm not going to sell you something you don't want. I don't want to do that.
So it's kind of like dating.
It's kind of like dating. It's exactly kind of like dating. You go with somebody, you have a meal and you talk, and sometimes you say, that person, bye-bye. And sometimes you say, hey, let's go on a second date, and third and fourth and so on. Yeah.
So you'd rather date and get married than get married and then get divorced.
Yeah, something like that.
Put an analogy to it.
Something like that. But it's funny because it's a concept that works in every branch, and in coaching you rarely see it.
I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. I mean, I've seen people have like a 15-minute consultation.
Yeah, or even an hour.
Or things like that. But you really can't get a true feel out of 15 minutes.
No, 15 minutes is ridiculous. Then you can just say hello and what's the weather like and nothing more than that. You have to need at least an hour, at least to have some kind of connection.
Because I would imagine you would at least need the hour to at least develop some type of relationship, some rapport.
Of course. I even now do an hour before I even sign them up in the free program, because I want to be sure that they are going to be committed. That's of course the downside. It's free, or let's just do it. No, not just do it. You have to be committed. Are you going to do the program? Are you going to do the exercises? Are you going to come on the call each week? And that's what I want to know. And if you say, yeah, but I'm very busy, then I don't think so that I'm going to give you the free program. Why should I?
Right.
If you're not hungry, I'm not going to give you food, because you're going to throw it away.
Sure. Yeah, because I remember when I was discussing, I did all these jobs. One of the other jobs that I tried was being a health coach. And I was a certified raw nutritionist, a health coach, and an herbalist.
Yeah.
But I never gave people a free trial, which is what I should have done. Because what I found was that everybody wants that instant gratification. They want to take the pill and not build the muscle and develop their lifestyle, and they want the same results.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't work like that.
Absolutely. It doesn't. It's true. That's also why if they hear it's 6 weeks, then they start thinking already, 6 weeks, okay. If it was like 1 week, then but now if they hear the word 6 weeks, and then even it's actually 7 weeks, because there's the last week is like we do follow up and stuff. Yeah, but of course there will always be people who still start and then you have to motivate you on. But okay, that's my job, that's what I need to do then, and then I'll do it. There will be always people that need a little push, and that's fine. That's fine, as long as you don't need to pull them out of the water. It's okay. I like to push, but I don't like to pull people.
Understood. So, how does your pricing structure work?
It's always bespoke, just because if there are two ways. If you come in as an individual, I have my prices. But if you come as a leader from a firm then we're going to look at the situation. How many people do you have in your team? What are the pain points, etc., etc. So, and then we see, okay, how long are we going to work each other? So everything is bespoke there. And again, here that's the clown way. Not everybody likes a Ferrari, and not especially not the people who have to carry a lot of stuff with them. You know what I mean? So you have to see which car. Yeah, you have to see which people needs such kind of some people you want to give a minivan, and other people you want to give an SUV. So you have to see what do you guys need, and that's so again here it's the clown way. It's look, who are you? What do you want? How can I help you best? Actually, that's where it's about. So yeah.
One of the questions that crossed my mind was, you said you work for small businesses with maybe 5 people or more, but
doesn't matter.
Doesn't everybody have different needs, bio-individuality, and how do you work with each person individually and yet accomplish the goal as a group by itself?
Very good question. And I'm going to do a sports analogy. So suppose you have people who do tennis, who do basketball and soccer in one team, right? So 3 different sports in one team. How do you resolve that? Simple. You make sure you do running, jumping, all the basics, that you have the basics. And when they have the basics, Then you go on and you go, then you give the one who wants to play tennis a tennis racket, who wants to play basketball a basketball, and wants to play soccer a soccer ball. But you do that, again, you do that after they have the basics. You know, I used to train basketball to kids in Belgium when I was 16 or something. I played basketball until my 18th or 20th. And I was coaching little kids because I wanted to work with kids, you know. And that was also, and I had the real little ones I had in the beginning, like 4 or 5 years old. And in the beginning, I wanted to teach them how to play basketball, right? Because I was a basketball coach. But after a few weeks, I saw I don't need to teach them basketball. I have to teach them how to run, how to stop, how to move. I have to teach them these things first. And then I will give them a basketball, because if they don't run, if they can't jump, if they can't all do these basic things, they will never play basketball.
Sure, you got to teach the fundamentals. You got to learn to walk before you can run.
Yes, and that's the same, and that's also what the 6 weeks program does. So it gives you the fundamentals, it gives you the handles, and then we are going to work. Then we're going to see, okay, which sports are we going to give you? A tennis racket, a basketball, or a soccer ball? And that's also why I love working this way. And even if they say after the 6 weeks, no, but then they have it. That's why I call it the gift. If you really embrace it, you know now how to handle things. Use it. And if they do or don't, okay, that's their decision. But they have the fundamentals, and then it's their decision to work with them or not. Of course, that's up to them. Huh? I can lead the horse to water, but it has to drink itself, right? Yeah.
You know what you do. It's an incredible. You help so many people. That's really why I wanted you on my show. It's truly a gift what you give people, what you've given the kids, and how you help people. I have your links scrolling across the screen, as you can probably see. Are there any shout outs, or you want to tell people how to get in touch with you? I don't remember if your email was there or not, or your.
It doesn't matter. I think if you just Google my name, I will come up. I will pop up. If you want to get in touch with me, please do. For whatever reason, just have a talk, just have a chat, and I will see what we do. Maybe we'll work together. Maybe we go and drink a beer. Maybe I don't know. Not get married, because I am married, so that's out of the question. But all others go. All other things go.
So am I. But I would love to have you on here again, because you've got so many stories. I'm sure we just scratched the surface, and it's been a pleasure.
Likewise, Jeff. I'm really happy I was on this podcast.
So hang on for. I'm Jeff Kay, founder of My Digital Memories. We preserve, protect, and organize your precious memories, which include your photographs, negatives, videotapes, home movies, records, and cassette tapes. These can be stored for today and future generations. After our parents died, my sister and I were cleaning out their home, and we came across boxes of photos that we wanted and our kids wanted. I knew I had to digitize all these paper photographs, slides, and negatives so they could be shared with family and friends. In My Digital Memories, we take your photos and most types of media and digitize them. We're able to restore photographs and remove unwanted scratches or blemishes. We also digitize home movies. We deliver the end product into any type of storage imaginable, whether it's on a USB thumb drive, a DVD, or storage in the cloud. We make it easier for you to share your digital memories with family and friends. Were you aware your family memories, paper photographs, and other media were only designed to last a maximum of 20 years in a climate-controlled environment? People care about their memories, genealogy, and where they come from. My client Sally gave me countless VHS tapes and had no idea of the treasure she was about to find. She heard her father's voice for the first time. Her father died in Vietnam and she never met him. She broke down in tears and was extremely grateful. Let's always remember our pets, our furry friends who are loyal to the end. Please contact me to preserve what is most valuable in your life for today and future generations. You are never forgotten with my digital memories.